Hi everyone, welcome to Art at AEIS. I'm Mrs. Breshik for those of you who don't know me, and I will be working with you all year long. I'm looking forward to having a really fun art year. We do a lot of fun projects. We work with watercolors and collage, clay. We really work with I try and expose you to a lot of different materials, so welcome. Today we are just going to be learning a little bit about the rules and a little bit of how I run my art class. So I'm going to walk behind the camera and kind of show you how we line up. And then about the tables, I have 7 tables in my class and they're color coded. I have warm colors on one side and then I have cool colors on the other. So when I meet you at the door, I will assign you a seat. And I'll tell you what color table to go to. I'll say either go to the purple table or the blue table. And that you can sit for right now at any of the numbers. Every table has 4 numbers. And those numbers correspond to my table jobs and what table you will do your job at. So let's look at the outside of my classroom so we can see where we are going to line up. So again, my tables, not only is everything on the table color coded, but we also have palettes hanging above them that also kind of make reference to what table you're going to be at. So when I meet you, I will greet you at the door, and you can see that there are paint splotches on the floor. These paint splashes are where you should line up for art, and they go all the way down to the end of my display case. Culture is the next classroom, and then we have gifted or GE, and then of course music is right across the hall. So there a lot of times are definitely 3 classes at one time in this hallway, so you want to make sure that you line up the way you are supposed to. Once I greet you at the door, I welcome you. You're an amazing AEIS artist. You'll come in. On the first day I will assign seats. But from then on, you'll go to your seats, and if you can't remember your seats, I'll just have you wait until we can figure out where it is that you're supposed to sit. So today, again, it's just going to be an introduction, and you're going to sit down, and again, all the tables have numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Find a spot that works best for you. And we're going to be creating our folders, which is where we'll keep our artwork. I'm just going to kind of lower my camera here a little bit. So some folders will already be made, and other ones you'll have to make yourselves. So if you already have a folder that's already made, good for you. And if not, you'll be gluing your own folder. So if you have to glue your own folder, you're going to get the color that your grade level is in. 3rd grade is pink. If the glue is not right in front of you, you're going to grab a glue. The way I like for people to use the glue so they're not wasteful, because I don't have glue sticks, is you always put glue on the item you're gluing to the folder or to something. So you're going to carefully open the glue. It's 1 turn. You don't have to keep turning it, just 1 turn, and put a dot in each corner. This makes sure that you don't put too much glue and it doesn't get everywhere. On the cover, the outside of your folder, is the attendance, where your name and your teacher's name will go. On the inside are 2 other pieces of paper, and it really doesn't matter which side you put them on. It is what you will learn sheet, so it talks about different things that we're going to be discovering this year, and the elements of art. And I talk a lot about the elements of art because those are the tools artists use to create artwork. So again, doesn't matter where you put them, so put your 4 dots on the corners, turn it over, and place it down. Do the next with the last piece, and place it down. So now your folder, and if you didn't put too much glue, you should be able to close it. Your folders will go inside these nice little stands, okay? So you're going to put your folder inside, and it might fall over, and that's okay, but at least it stays out of the way. The next thing that you're going to do is create a clip, because I'm going to use a new discipline classroom management thing with clips, because I know a lot of teachers use clips. And so on this clothespin, you're going to write your name and also your teacher's name. And eventually we're going to then put them on a little stoplight, green face, at the beginning of the day, and that will be someone's job to do. So you want to make sure your name and teacher's name goes on this, and just leave it in front of you. The next thing that we're going to do is create our name tags. Our name tags this year are going to be fish. Okay, we're going to be a school that swims together and cooperates and works together. And so we are going to use fish. One, we live in Okinawa and we're surrounded by the ocean. So you do have some tracers on your table, but you can create your own fish. It doesn't matter what you don't have to use mine. But what you do want to use is we're going to be using the same color as your table. So on your table should be the color of your table and a piece of paper. You're going to either trace one of these or create your own. If you create your own fish, make sure it's at least as big as this. If you're using this fish or even your own fish, you don't want to place it in the center of your paper because then you're wasting your space. You want to trace it up here so that we can cut the other part off and somebody else can use it. Okay? So you're going to trace your fish with pencil. And then you want to put your name on it. So put your name really big, preferably with the black marker. And then you can add designs and color. For coloring, you can either use the colored pencils that are on your table. I will have crayons out on your table as well. And you can use markers. Markers and construction paper sometimes make the markers have a different color, so you might want to use colored pencils instead of markers, but you can use any of those tools. Okay. Once you're done with your name tag, your name goes on it. You're going to cut it out. Your teacher's name goes on the back. So if you're one of Mr. Walker's students, his name will go on the back. And then your name tag goes inside the holder as well. So then I can get to know everybody's name. Make sure that I can see it. So it's right there along with your folder. And then that way your folder is off the table. So we've done our clip. The other thing that you have in front of you should be some stickers. And on these stickers, you're going to put your name really big. Because this sticker will go on your artwork if I display it out in the hall. So I have lots of bulletin boards I like to put student art on. And this way we can see whose it is. So I would put your name really big on all of these stickers. There's 10 of them. And then put them inside your folder. So that might be all that we get done today, especially since we're going to be learning about some more procedures. So we haven't started working with our fish yet. Wait till I tell you to start. But I want to go over some other things that happen in art. So first of all, I have a timer that I set. And when my timer goes off, that means it's time to clean up. The cleanup procedures are really important for us all to have a good time in art and have the tables ready for the next class. So when you hear my timer go off, you want to stop and freeze. You then are going to make sure I don't have any announcements. The next thing you're going to do is put away your artwork. So for today, our artwork was our name tags. You're going to put your name tag inside your folder. Okay. Again, on your folder, you should have your name and your teacher's name. We also have these rectangles here that we will fill. There's 9 of them. So if you're a third grader, you're going to color in 2 triangles because that means you were here today. Now, if you're absent, I'll write the word absent. But you put your artwork away, and then you're going to put your folders away. You might say, well, where do I put my folder? You're going to put your folder inside the table folder. The table folder has your teacher's name on it, and everybody who sits at your table will put their folder inside. Okay. Now, if you used a lot of glue, we're going to put it on the drying rack. So it goes inside. And the person's job that it is to pick up folders will pick them up. Once your folder is put away, then you'll pick up your materials. So let's say I have materials all over. So now it's my time to pick up my supplies. So I'm going to close my glue. If I used the scissors, I will put the scissors back where it belongs. Pencils and markers go back where they belong. Everything is labeled. So please don't be talking to your friend and just throwing stuff where it doesn't go. So you want to make sure it's back where it belongs, okay? And usually the supplies that you share with the person next to you goes right between you, okay? Once your supplies are put away and you don't have anything in front of you, and that means that's when you'll throw your trash away too. And I have garbage cans all over my room. There's one by the flag. There's one right near the smart board. There's usually one right behind me. So I have several big garbage cans. Then once everything is picked up, your table is really clean, you're going to do your table jobs. In art, we have table jobs. Everybody has a job to keep my art class running smoothly. You look at your number. Right now I'm sitting at number 4. I'm going to stand up and show you what that number 4 refers to. So once you see your number, and your numbers won't change unless I change your seat, you're going to look up here at the front, and up here it says seat number. And again, I was at number 4. So I'm going to check yellow and pink tables. And below that is the table jobs. So the pink table's job is name tag checkers. They're going to make sure that no one left their name tags out. So I would go to the yellow table and my own table and make sure nobody left their name tags out. Okay. The red table's job will be to organize materials. The orange table's job is pencil sharpeners, and I have 2 electric pencil sharpeners near the sink. The blue table's job is table checkers, and they're going to make sure that all the materials are right where they need to be, that the pencils are not where the markers are, that the erasers are exactly where they need to be. The green table is going to pick up our folders. Okay, so if I was number 4 and my job was table master, I would pick up my own folders and the yellow table folders. And the purple table is helpers. The helpers will pass out materials, set up if I need them to set up. They also will be responsible for my behavioral chart. So at the beginning of class, they'll make sure that they put all the clips up at the smiley green part. And if I tell somebody to move a clip, they will make sure that that person moves a clip down. Okay? And this is just a good way for teachers to know if their class was well behaved and paying attention. It just keeps us all on track. So those are the different jobs. I will review those jobs every time for a while. Usually we keep the same job for the first 2 weeks, and then I rotate the jobs, meaning they change. What doesn't ever change is the tables you do your job at. Unless I change your seat, it's always going to be the same tables to do your job at. Okay? Also in my classroom, I have 2 sinks. Okay? And the paper towels are always right by the sinks. We have all the materials on our tables usually, and if there's extra materials, I sometimes will use this table right here for extra supplies. If your artwork is wet, and after you stop and freeze and you have to put your artwork away, so if you used a lot of glue today, you're going to come over here to my drying rack. I will always tell your class which drying racks to use. I have 4 different sections, and I'll either tell you to put it on drying racks 1, 2, 3, or 4. And if you will see, they're all labeled. There are 6 drying rack 1s, 6 drying rack 2s, 6 drying rack 3s, and then 4 is way down at the bottom. This is where wet artwork goes. I only leave it on there for a day, and then I put it back in your folders. So it never stays on the drying rack. So make sure you put it on the right drying rack and that your name and teacher's name is on the back of your artwork. Okay, so that's the drying rack. On this bookshelf here, we have if you get done early, there are different activities that you can do. There are tracers and whiteboards and stencils. So this is where you would find some of those materials. Over here is another bookshelf with some extra materials, tape and more oil pastels, some markers, colored pencils. So that's my extra supply area. Moving around my room, we will have a section over here. It's got a lot of stuff on it right now. This will be also a drawing section right by my drawing books. So these are my drawing books that I have, and if you get done early, you might want to grab one and a sheet of paper and practice your drawing skills. Coming back around to where my primary colors are, we have going to have our word wall here. And you also see now a number 1. So the person who is seated at number 1 will be kind of in charge of their table. They will have to check to make sure they know what the table job is. And they will be responsible for giving the clips, if they need to the helpers. Just like there are spots out on the floor, out in the hall to line up, when I ask you to get in line, there are also paint splotches on the floor, which you will stand by and go in a nice straight line and wait for your teacher. The other thing that is on the back of this big shelf is where the folders are. So if your job was folder masters, you're going to put the class's folders in the bin, your class bin, and get the next class's folders. So if you are in Mr. San Nicholas's class, you will put your folders here. And then you will grab the next class's folders and put those on the table. So the next class is always right next to your bin. So if you're in this class, you put your folders here. And if you're folder masters, you then grab these classes, this folders, and put them out for the next class. Once all the table jobs are done and you're back to your seats, sitting quietly, I will dismiss tables and tell them to get in line. Okay, so we'll line up in a straight line. The other charts that I have in my room that are kind of fun and important are how quietly you entered, so you'll get little points. The helpers will put the smiley faces on, and this is how we get points in our class. And we also have our charts here. So again, the helpers will do the points for the class, and right now we